Hello, welcome back. So in this video, I'll be introducing you to Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is a popular front-end framework for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it is used to create a very responsive site, and it's also a mobile first in view. So, and there are major three versions of Bootstrap. There is version 3, there is version 4, and there's version 5. So, the difference between version 5 and other versions is that while other versions are built with jQuery, Bootstrap 5 is built majorly using vanilla JS, so which makes it more responsive and also has other content that other versions did not have. So before you can start or making use of Bootstrap, let me show you their site. So I'm going to use I'm going to be making use of Bootstrap 5 here, so you can see. So there is links that we are going to copy from their CDN link, just like you are seeing it here. So let's check. So I'm using Bootstrap 5.0. I think there is 1.5.1 and to 5.3 or 5.5. I can't really say, but I'm going to use version 5.0, and this version 5 was released in 2021. So let's open it now. So before you start making use of Bootstrap, you need to copy their link. So this is their CSS link, and this is their JavaScript link. So it depends on if you are working on a very complicated website. So you can make use of the two, or if you only want to make use of their CSS styling, you can just copy this. But I'll advise you to copy both. Say, yeah, especially if you want to if you want to create a nav bar using Bootstrap. So this is very important for you. So now, for you to do this, you copy this to your VS Code in order for the styling to reflect. So then one thing I'll also explain to you is that they use inline styling. So it's only inline styling they use. However, you can also modify, like you can also style it using external or internal CSS styling. Internal CSS, sorry. So the first thing we'll do is to create our file here. So I'm going to create a bootstrap.html. HTML. So first thing I'll do is to create this. So the the link you copy, you just click here, then you copy it. So you're going to paste it in the head before before the title. So you just paste it here. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to paste it here, right? So you can see I've pasted the link. That is the CSS link. Now I'm going to also paste the JavaScript. So that's if you want. It's not compulsory, but if you are building a site that comprises of JavaScript and you want to make use of Bootstrap, you need to copy this. So here you'll be pasting the link before the end of the before the closing tag of the body. Like it's inside the body, as you can see here. It's inside the body. So every of your content will be on top of it. I believe you get it. So the first thing I'll show you before we come back to this their site. And another thing is, if you are working with, maybe in this version 5 you couldn't get the design you preferred. But I believe me, you get even more than what you expected here. But if you think you can't get it here, you can also visit Bootstrap 4. Mostly, I think, because me, I actually make use of Bootstrap 4.6 also. Bootstrap 4. You can see. You see Bootstrap 5, Bootstrap 6, 4.6, Bootstrap 4.5. So you can just click, then you go through it again. But the thing is, if you are making use of styles from different version of Bootstrap, make sure that you copy the links. So if you are making use of any style here, or any what is it called, any component here, here is where you see all those things. So make sure that you also copy the CSS of this, because if not, if you are making use of any content from this version, which is version 4.6, inside and we are also making use of this version 5.0, and you only copied the CSS and JavaScript of version 4.0, that of 4.6 will not work. So in order to make the two work together, you need to also copy the CSS of this and the JavaScript of this to make it work for the style to reflect. But honestly, I don't really see the need of you making use of two versions. So it's better you just stick to one. So now, the first thing we'll create. So, and another thing I'll also talk to you about is the container. So, in our previous lessons, we've been having a container div, right? Sorry, div container, right? So a container as a class of a div. So here, the difference between the container here, there's a difference between container in Bootstrap and container while making use of CSS, right? So and while making use of pure CSS. Now the container here, let's see, is that if you create like if you want to write something, like you want to create a sorry, let's say you want to create a content inside a container div dot container. For instance, let's say you want to create an H1 or H2. I'm using a content text generator here. Sorry, I just want to wrap the word. So now, so if you use container here, the content will not touch both edges. In normal CSS, right? If you let me open it so that you can understand what I'm trying to explain. So this is it. This is how container in this thing in Bootstrap looks like. So in normal CSS, if you have a content, there will be space here, like very small space, very small here like this. So and there will be at the top. So, but to remove that in normal CSS, you use padding 0, margin 0 to remove the spaces, right? But here, this is how it is like in Bootstrap. So this is how it is in Bootstrap. So now, I'm sorry about that. So now, um, if you want to create content that you don't want to touch the edges, like you want it to be almost at the center of the page, you use just container. But if you want it to touch both edges, so instead of making use of margin 0, padding 0 in normal CSS, you just use container fluid. So I believe you see this thing here. So I'm going to use container fluid now. Container fluid. So you can see it has touched both edges. It has expanded to the two edges, like So as you can see here. So and another thing I'll also want to explain to you is is putting, okay, I'm going to copy and paste this to make it, or let me create another thing inside of it. Like let me say for instance paragraph. So it's just the same thing, the same HTML, but the CSS is inline and it's a bit different from native CSS. So I'm just going to copy just few text here, just few text here, and paste it here. So you can see. So so another thing you can do is that you can make this text to be at the center. So you can make it to be at the beginning, you can make it to be at the center, and you can also make it to be at the end, just like justify. Like if you want to justify content, or making use of align content left, align content right, align content center. So the same thing here, you can also do that. So let's say, but the thing now, the thing with Bootstrap is you can't, if you want to central, if you want to make this to be at the center or to be at test, you have to create div. You have to put it inside a div. So it's the div that you will style. So let's say we want to make this to be at the center now, or we want to make all to be at the center. Definitely, you have to use it here. Okay, let's use this here for, so if you want to style it, it should be inside the column, the opening and closing this thing, the columns, right? So it should be inside, not outside, not outside the closing one. So it should be inside. So you can just say text center. You can see it here. So text center. So let's see. So you can see they are in the center, on the center of the page now, as you can see. So you are not really seeing the effect on the first one, which is the H2, because it's the text is big, right? So let's say now we will want to only centered this, to only make this to be at the center. So you have to create another div for it, because if you didn't create another div for it, it will not work. So you have to create a class of sorry, container. Sorry about that. So, but if you want to do it without making use of the this thing, that is the Bootstrap text center, that means you have to style it using normal CSS. You can either use internal styling, inline styling, or external styling to centralize it. But let's say we don't want to make use of native CSS. We only want to make use of Bootstrap. So you just have to create you just have to create a div, a separate div for it. So I'm copying from here just to paste it. So can you see it? Let's check it. You can see it's at the beginning now. So it's container. So that's why you are seeing it here. You know, it's not container fluid, but if it's container fluid, it will extend to the edges. Let me just put it here. Container fluid. You see it now. So you can see, right? So now I'm giving it text, oh, sorry. I'm giving it text center, text center. So let's see. So you can see this one is no longer centered, but only this is centered, right? So you can also give it a text start. So let's give it text start and see. Text start, you can only use one of text centered, text align, or text centered, text end. You can see this text start. So you can also make it to be at the end, the text end. You can see it here now. So that is how to do that. And the next thing I'll also talk about is the background. So you can also change the text, the color of the text. So let's say text. So in Bootstrap, their color is not normally named, is not a normal color name, just like in CSS. So let me show you something. So let's check their color. Yeah, this is it. So their colors. So if you want to give it a blue color, you name it primary. If you want to give it secondary, this is secondary, which is gray. Success is green. Danger is red. Warning is yellow. Info is this is it royal blue or sky blue? So light, this is very light gray. Black is dark. So if you don't name it exactly this, it will not work. Right. So you just have to name it exactly this. So I'm going with primary, text primary. That means I'm changing the text to blue. Let's see. Yeah, you can see. So you can change it to blue, which is primary, or you can change it to red. So that is Bootstrap. So let me just leave this as that. So I'm changing this. So let me just give the two different color so that you know. So text danger. That means I'm changing the text to red color so you can see. So now let's say you want to give it a background color. So the background color is the inside the same line. No, you will not go outside uh the quotation marks, right? So I'll just say BG. BG represents background. So background, let's say secondary. You see, ba? So you can see this is the background secondary. So it's covering this blue because you know we gave it a different div, but it's still inside the first div. You can see this is the first div, this is the closing tag of the first div, this is closing tag and opening tag of the second div. So if I want it to be separated so that the background color will not affect the second div, so I'll just put it outside this one. I'll just put it outside. So with that, it will not, the background color will not affect it. You can see. So that's how to put a background color. So, and now if you want to put it margin, let's say margin padding. So their own is just PT. So inside though, inside still the same this thing. That's where you just put everything, every of whatever you want to put if you are making use of Bootstrap. So their padding is P. It's represented with P. If you want to add padding top, let's say you want to give it a space of inside the box, like a space of internal space of padding top, just a PT. So and their own number of this thing, both margin and padding, it ranges from 1 to 5. So if you want to expand it more or you want it to be more, you can use your internal or external CSS to do that. You understand, right? So I'm going to give it a padding top of 5. So this is it. You can see the space it's created. So you know padding is creating space inside the container. Then margin is creating space around, that is outside the container. So let's say I'm giving it a margin top, for instance. You see the container will shift from the top. So there will be white space you can see. So there is white space here. So this is it. So this is how to create it. So I don't want this video to get longer than 30-40 minutes. So this is just the basic thing. So and another thing I'll also tell you is that I'm going to show you in this video is that there is grid. So see, Bootstrap also have their grid. So if you want to create grid, the grid for this thing comes in row and column, right? So and the column for Bootstrap grid is 12. So it divides the screen into 12, right? So anything you want to do, maybe let's say you want to create a box like this. So let me show you an example of what I'm trying to explain. So this is it. We have three this thing here, three cards here. We have three columns, right, in a row. So we have one, two, three. So just like I explained, the column of grid in Bootstrap is divide the screen into 12, right? So in with that, we can say this is 4, this is 4, and this is 4. And 4 times 3 is 12, right? So if you want to divide this into 4, if you want these things to be divided into 4, that means you have to give one 3, 3, 3, and 3. 3 times 4 is 12, right? So, and if you want one to be bigger than another, maybe you want to have two columns, or you want to have three columns, and you want this to be smaller and the centered one to be more bigger. So you can give it 3, 6, 3, right? So this will be smaller, this the centered one will be bigger, and this will be the same size as this. So it depends on what you want, right? So let's go back now. So to create that, you need to have your container dot container field, right? So if you have it like this, so the first thing you will do, because you want to create a grid, a column, so you want to make use of grid bootstrap grid, right? So just like I said, it's works with row and column. So the first thing you do is to create a row container, right? If you create it like this, so inside you have to create your column. So just like I said, dot co minus 4. So there's SM. Okay, I think it's SM. So there are different type of screen size. This is the small media. Let's say small screen, for small screen. So it ranges from 576 pixels. That is for this phone size, made mostly phone screen size and above. So if you are reducing your screen, it will reduce from the smallest it can reduce to is 576 pixels, which is this SM. But there is also medium, I think MD, and we also have a large. You can use L for here. Sorry, in here you can also use there's also extra large, sorry, and extra large for larger screens. I think that is over 1000 pixels, right? So, but if you want it to be for the screen of most, the size of most phone screens, you just use this SM. So you can, if you reduce our screen size, it's going to reduce very responsively, right? So I'm going to make use of 4 here. So I'll just copy and paste it because I'm replicating it. So, but make sure that all the three divs, so it depends if you want to make use of paragraph, you want to make use of H1, if you just want to make use of your text, it depends on what you want, right? So let me just paste it this here. Let's see what we have. So you can see this is the text. So you can sorry, you can put it in H1, H2, H3. It depends on what you want, right? So it depends on how visible you want your text to be. But let's say we are not wrapping it in any any header, right? Because we have display and we have H1 to H6, just like we have normal H1 to H6. So we also have display. So display is tinier, the text is tinier and not as bold as this thing. So if you want to display your H1, you can just write display, text display here. So and it will just be thinner, so it will not be bold as normal H2. But here, let's continue here. So I'm not making use of this thing here. I'm not putting this in any header. So I just want the text to appear the way it is. So you can see this, the first one has taken its own position here. So that is size 4, right? So I'm going to copy from here. You can see that is the column, this thing I'm copying, but it shouldn't be outside the row div. You can see these are opening tag of the row div, and this is the closing tag. So I'm creating my second column now. You can see this is the second one. So please make sure you don't make a mistake by copying and pasting it inside the same div as this, right? So make sure it's outside the closing tag of the first colon div. Then you can now paste it outside, but make sure it is inside the row div. You can see the two divs are inside, the two colon divs are inside the row div, right? So I'm going to paste the third one. So you know I said it's divided into 12, right? So, sorry, the screens of grid in Bootstrap is divided into 12, right? So we have 4, 4, and 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. You can see this is what we have. So let's now reduce the screen and see the responsiveness. So I'm reducing the screen for you to see the responsiveness. You can see they are on top of each other. So I'll have to put a margin. Okay, let me just put what is it called? Let me just put a background color. I'm giving this a background color of danger, right? I'm giving this a background color. I'm just giving it to them so that you see their effect of dark, which is black. And I'm giving this a background color of success, right? So let's see, you can see the three of them are on top of each other, right? So that is that. So let's say you want to, let's check if you want to space it. Padding, let's make use of 5 if it will work. Okay, so it created space outside of it, right? So let's say there's something I want to do. I want to create I want this. Okay, so margin bottom 5. Aha, this is what I wanted to achieve. So I want to create space so that they won't be touching each other, in between them, so that they won't be touching each other. You can see I gave it margin bottom. That is, I wanted to create external space under, like under under this one and under this one. So you see, let me just give it 2. Sorry, 2. So you can see it has created this space. So I'm also going to put the same thing here. That is margin bottom. You can also give it margin top. It depends on what you want to achieve, right? It depends on your what you are styling. So you can see, so margin button created space in between them. So you can see that they are very responsive. Look at the first one too. Look at this second one, and look at this. It's very responsive. You see, right? So in okay, let me quickly talk about card here before I end this video. So in the part 2 of this video, I'm going to show you around their platform for you to be able to know what next to do or what to use at a particular point in time. So now let's say we want to create a card. You know, here, this is what is called card. They have their card. So I actually made use of card here. So I used card here, not just the column. So if you want to know if it's card, you see this line. You see this line that rounded the this thing. So that is a card. I also used card here. I also used card here. I just give it a background color. That's why you are seeing it there. So let's say we want to create a card, right? So what you will do is that, so I'll still make use of this content, right? But I'll just show you the card. So, and I'll remove the this thing, the background color, so that you can see the card if it's created. So the card will be created immediately. Okay, inside of this column 4. So after the column, you create the card. You understand, right? Is it? Yes, I think it's inside the column. So let me just paste the. I believe you can see the difference. So first thing is the row, which comprises of the div containers. Sorry, which comprises of the div column items, and the second one is card. You can see the card here. So if you want this one to be card, you just copy the content and put the card just like we did here. So let me show you. I've removed the background color of the first one. So let me show you what it is. You can see, if you see this round border, you know, in normal CSS, this is border like 1 pixel thick, right? So, but this is card. If you see something like this, that means it's a card, right? So this is how a card looks like. So you can now put in your image. Maybe you want to add image just like we used to do. Okay, let's create the second card. So actually remove the background so that the background color, so that you see the card we created. So this is useful, especially if you are creating a content, column content with a picture. So it will not make one picture to be bigger than the other or have more large weight than the other, right? So every of the content will be inside the size of that card. So especially if you are creating a content, just like I explained, especially if you are creating a content, you can see this one too has created a card. You can see what I explained here, that I just gave this a background color, this a background color. So if you want everything to fit in a particular space so that one image will not be bigger than the other, you can make use of card. And if, let's say, price tag, let's say you are creating a site that has a price like for items, you can make use of card. It will be very beautiful if you make use of card, right? So that is that for this video. So in our next video, I'll continue to show you I'll show you where just a tour of their site and what you can do and what you are not supposed to do. Thank you.